just in the beginning of the game, the run game was working, great, man. And just, having Daniel back there, bro, it's so great, bro. Just, I know he was going to be a great leader and just focusing heavy on the run games, just kind of getting him into a groove. I think, that's why, everything just kind of clicked how it did. And, I think that's really big, really. I don't really got nothing to say.
Career night for you. Just talk about that and talk about how you feel tonight was really special for you.
It's always good to, have a career night, but, you can't do anything without the five, offensive linemen, blocking. And, without those guys, man, we can't do anything. Just as you've seen, against Rice, we don't really have an offense. Not saying, you don't have an offensive line, but, we're not, offensive line kind of struggling and things like that. You can't really, run for anything. So I really credit, all my success to my offensive linemen. And, even my receivers because, those guys are blocking on the perimeter and, backside blocks and things like that. So, it's really all just one big effort. So anytime you see, a running back, get 100 yards, 100 plus yards, I promise you it ain't just him by himself. It's just a collective group just, coming together and, everybody just playing hard, everybody want to see the next man succeed. So
what do you feel like you're doing better right now than last season?
One thing that I feel like I'm just seeing it better and just, being patient and, when a negative play happens, just not, getting in my head because, in high school, a lot of the times, as a running back, you probably break you probably break 5 to 6 runs a game. And so, just staying patient and just, staying with my keys and just, just keeping the main thing, just not, letting one bad play just affect the next bad play and just, just staying composed through it all, so.
How uplifting is it to know that not only you were going off, Zylan, Steven also, once they got in the game, they also were running the rock well.
Right. And I think I've said this before, in the past, I know, everybody was saying, me and Zylan and, just saying, us two. And I was just bro, I was just crediting the other guys we have. Everybody in the running back room can play. Preseason stats, all this, that doesn't really matter. Bro, those guys are good too, even though they just haven't had a chance to play yet. And I know when those guys are gonna, get in there, they're gonna make the most of the opportunity. Steven Blanco, he's nice. Darrell Smith, who's a freshman, he hadn't even seen the field yet. He's nice. JJ Garden, he's nice. Hutch Swilly, he's nice. We're not recruiting guys who can't play or suck. So when Steven went in there, I was so happy. When he scored, I was just so thrilled and excited. It's when he scored his first one, and then my roommate, I'm gonna give him a shout out, Landon Baptiste. I was just so happy for him because me and him are roommates and just. My guys are walk on, so just him having that success, man, I was just so happy, for both of them. It was just, a incredible thing, just, it happened tonight. So
with Blanco, with Steven, what have you seen in practice that he seems like he has a burst.
Right.
What impresses you about him?
Honestly, he's kind of sneaky fast. You wouldn't really think he's fast, but he's sneaky fast and he's powerful and he reads it well. I think that's might be the most underrated thing about him. He can read it well and he's very smart. He understands the game. He understands, he doesn't make the same mistake twice. And just the amount of improvement that, that he did, even on his body, up until now is just amazing to see just how far he's come. So.
We talked a little bit about in the preseason, how you trimmed down a little bit to be able to have some of those breakaway moments. Obviously, you had a 36-yard run breaking away. How good does it feel to literally be able to see that pay off on the field?
Right, man, it feels great just because, I know everything that has went into, this offseason and just, Coach Burrs and Coach Dares and even Coach LJ, they're just staying on me and, even the strength staff just staying on me and just, I'm not gonna lie, I think that's probably one of the hardest things to do, man, is just eat right, especially when it's in Lafayette and there's just so much good food down here, But I think, it was just a big improvement, man, just seeing I'm pulling away from guys and, just not getting caught from the behind and things like that. So I think just from the amount of work, it's definitely I love to see that and just it's all paying off. So,
and also with how you guys are running the football, how important is it for y'all to continue to stay honed in as the passing game tries to figure out what they need to be able to complement what you guys are doing?
So that's the thing. So man, I was telling Sheldon bro, you good, bro, I told all those guys Rob, KD, Sheldon, all those guys bro, y'all time gonna come, it's gonna be times where we're gonna need them to step up, and, it's gonna be times, tonight they leaned on us. So, I have so much confidence in those guys. Bro, y'all seen the preparation and just detail and just everything that goes into it. I promise you, they're trying to go out there and make plays. We're all human. We all gonna mess up. I know moving forward, I know it's only going to get better. It has no choice but to get better. I know Coach Dez is going to, we're going to push them to be better every single day. And like I said, and the one thing I love about them is that they want to get better. It's like, it's not when they drop a ball, it's not like they're happy. You know what I mean? They obviously are like, damn, I dropped the ball. And so I just love that. Just everybody's competitive. Everybody, wants to play. Everybody wants to compete. So that's what I just love most about these receivers.
How would you describe Daniel's presence, just how he handled himself in the huddle and being a leader in his first start?
So we make a joke, like we call him like he's like a mini Ben, just very, composed. Like when he makes a bad play, like he doesn't seem rattled like most guys would. I know early on when I would mess up, it would kind of like affect me a little bit. And the one thing I love about him is just his composed mindset that he has. Especially, like I said, he came from Catholic BR and like they have a winning tradition. So like I said, I know over there it wasn't perfect. And, when he did mess up in the game, he stayed composed. His guys had his back. We had his back. So, I'm just so excited, he got to, get his first win as, the starting quarterback tonight. So.